Hey folks, this is Vince with Ads Gaming Addiction, and today we're going to quickly review Dark Cards. This is a game that you can find on Steam for about $10. So I recently covered Dark Mist by the same developer, and they were kind enough to send me a copy of Dark Cards, which actually just released. So what is Dark Cards? Well, as I mentioned in my Dark Mist review, this is a grid-based card battler, which on the surface is really cool. I enjoy those grid-based card games because cards often chain off of each other. There's a little bit of a hidden element. This game does offer that. I will say that. But I just want to warn you, the story and the dialogue are just, to me, it's cringe-inducing. It's a very light, very comical, angrishy, might I add, story. Apparently you're in debt, and you've got to repay this debt by being this debt collector. You go around and you fight these people in this card-based grid battler, and once you defeat them, you'll earn some money and start paying off your debt. So this grid that I'm talking about is an 8x5, I think it was. So there's 40 cards. It's 20 cards per side. And these cards seem to be dealt randomly across this grid. So you're going to have red cards and blue cards all mixed up face down so no one can see them initially. Although there are cards that will reveal themselves to you right from the beginning of the game so you know where they are. There are three kinds of cards in this game. You've got tool cards. Tool cards are used to attack your opponent. You've got treasure cards, which are used to strengthen your tools. And then there are trap cards, which seem to be very situational. For the most part, they hurt you. For example, you'll flip a trap and do 4 damage to yourself. Oh, that's great. If you don't have any cards to flip, then you'll lose 5 HP. So you have to keep flipping as much as possible. So there may be a point where you have to flip those trap cards. But I ran across a situation where it was actually to my advantage. There was an opponent that I was facing, and there are random events that pop up during the battle. It might say, tool cards, in 2 turns, all tool cards will get 1 extra damage. Or in 3 turns, swap the HP of you and your opponent. So I'm like, okay, I saw that. I'm like, so we're going to be swapping HP. So I intentionally healed the other player with my heal cards. I had cards that allowed me to heal myself that I had revealed. So I healed my opponent instead, and then tried to use my trap cards to damage myself. And then when that event expired, we swapped HP, and all of a sudden I had a ton of health. She had very little, and I just easily beat her. So there are situations where the trap cards might actually work for you, depending on those random events. Now, to be fair, I've played about 4 or 5 battles at this point, and I have not unlocked every single card in the game. So there may be other situations where you'll be using these trap cards, but I haven't really come across. As far as the gameplay itself, typically what happens is each of you takes a turn. Every turn you get to flip so many cards. At the start of the game, it's 1 card per turn, then eventually it's 2 cards per turn, then eventually 3 cards per turn. So more and more cards are going to be flipped. And every turn, you have the ability to activate your face-up cards that are on the field. So a lot of these cards have use it for 4 times and then it's expired. So for example, if you have a tool card, it might have 1 attack strength on it. And every time you use it, it'll use up 1 of its 4 durability. So these cards don't last forever. But again, there are treasure cards that you can put down and reveal that might extend the durability of your tool cards and keep them alive longer. So again, and you can also build your deck the way you want to. You start off with just a 20 card deck, and then in between battles in the story mode, there's this shop. You can go there, you can spend money to add cards to your deck, and you can have a maximum of 20 cards in your deck. So I will say that this is interesting. Again, the story and the dialogue are just cringe. I skip past them. It's blech. I don't care. Yes, they're fluffy animals. It's okay. It's cute and whatever. But it's, again, the dialogue just is cringy and Englishy. English apparently isn't their native language, whoever developed this game. Pixel Cattle Games. So that part I don't really care for. If I were to come back to this game, the only reason I'd come back to it is to unlock more cards and see what they do and try out different combinations. That's the reason why we play card battlers in the first place, not because we're interested in dialogue, because we want to see what cards are out there and how they can combo together and to possibly come up with the most overpowered deck possible. That's why we play these kinds of games. So, do I recommend it? Kind of, sort of. If story is important to you, But if all you're interested in is unlocking new cards and trying out different effects, then, you may want to give this a shot. Steam does have that refund ability. After, I think it's before 2 hours of playtime and 1 week of playtime, something like that. Now, I will warn you, though, that the tutorial is a little lacking. Typically, I found myself in situations where I didn't understand what the heck was going on, and the tutorial, the tutorial didn't catch up to what I was trying to do yet. So I think the game needs to spend more time educating the players as to what the card particulars do, the typical actions of a turn. Why are there gems next to the number of actions I can take? Oh, when that fills up, I get 2. So some of the tutorial is just non-existent. So I think more work needs to be done in the tutorial and getting the player up to date on what everything does. I forgot to mention, each player also has an inherent ability that's on cooldown. My character can heal right now for 2 HP every couple of turns, which is nice. And you'll come across various opponents that have different abilities. Whether or not you can change that down the line, I'm not sure, but I do know that you can buy items from the shop, in addition to cards, that will assist you in your battles. So, it's not bad. It's not the best card battler I've played, but it's not bad either. If there were a crap ton more of these grid-based card battlers on the market, I would be hesitant to recommend this because of that. However, because there's not a whole lot of card grid-based battler systems out there, we need more of them, I think. In my opinion, we need more of them. But because there's not a whole lot of them, I'm leaning more toward give it a try, see if you like it. That's where I stand on this one. If you guys haven't already, subscribe to me on Twitch and YouTube. That way you can stay up to date with any new content I happen to publish. This is Vince. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next time.